Did you know that there is an unseen risk when you stay too long at an organization, right? Because these days, there's no such thing as a job for life anymore. But what many people don't realize, especially people that have been in the same career for a while, is that there are two giant problems with staying in your career for too long. And in this video, I'm going to unpack both of them and why it's imperative that you think about changing careers if you have been stuck in the same organization for too long. Now, the first thing, and probably the most important, is when it comes to the value that is placed by an organization on people of different tenures, right? So, by far and away, the people who are underpaid in the marketplace by far are those who have stayed at the same organization for a long time. Now, why is this the case? Well, it's the case because of essentially the way the world works, right? The world is all about progress. The world is all about growth. And guess what doesn't represent growth? People have been at an organization for a long time. That represents stagnation. That represents the way things have always been done, right? If an organization is looking at doing something, right, whether that's solving a big problem or exploiting a big opportunity, let's say expanding into a new market or whatever it might be, that's exciting. That's growth. And guess what? Everybody invests in growth. If you want to invest in growth, what do you need to do? You need to pay top dollar. You need to pay the market rate. So that's why people who move organizations consistently often earn significantly more over their careers than people who stay put, right? And you can do the math on it. It's very simple when you actually look at it, right? Most people, when they get a new role, they get a pay raise. They get a bump in their salary because the market rate for whatever they're doing always increases more significantly than the pay raises you get in an organization in terms of your annual raise compared to what the market pays, right? That's the undisputed fact. And so what happens is, if you move consistently, you'll consistently see raises in your salary. Let's say you move every 4 years, you'll see raises pretty much every time you move, right? And then particularly what we do with our clients, we focus on leverage, which is getting multiple offers at the same time. When you do that, well, guess what? You have even more room to negotiate, and you often see higher salary increases when you move between organizations. But what this means across the span of a career is you're moving up each time. And then each move compounds on top of the last one. So if you're staying in the same role and you're getting, a 3% raise here, a 5% raise here, maybe you get a 10% raise when you get promoted. But if you're moving organizations, you see those same raises, but then every 4 years you're getting a 20% raise on top of that. And let's say your bonus is then tied to your base salary. Well, guess what? The bonus that you're eligible for based on the market is going to be more because your base salary is more because you've moved organizations. It's incredibly powerful, right? I think misquoted to Einstein was the quote that compounding is the most powerful force in the universe, right? But it is. Compounding is incredibly, incredibly powerful. And so if you can use compounding when it comes to finding a new role, right? Or when it comes to organizing your career and thinking about the next role that you want to get, it's so important that you do that, right? So if you're thinking to yourself, well, is it time that I move on from what I'm doing right now? Should I have been at my current company for this long? Oh, I've got tenure. Oh, these people, I enjoy working with people. All these different things which might keep you at an organization. Those things are fine, and those things are valuable. But you have to think to yourself, are they as valuable as being paid what I'm worth in the marketplace? Because oftentimes they're not, because you can get those other things at other organizations, potentially better versions of them, more fulfillment, better people to work with, if you actually have a strategy for finding your next role in the right way. Now, that's the first big thing, and that's huge, right? Because we've seen people, statistically, who miss out on millions of dollars when they don't when they don't strategically plan what their career is going to look like, they stay with the same organization for a long time. They don't negotiate effectively. There was even a study which showed that the average person would miss out on $1 million of salary over the span of their career if they don't negotiate. And that's just negotiation. That's not even thinking about this compounding effect. So important that you consider that. But the second point, and just as important, and the thing which is going to hold you back if you do want to make this move, is staying at the same place for a long time, particularly staying in the same role for a long time, shows lack of growth and stagnation in your career. So not only are you seeing lack of growth and lack of stagnation, lack of growth and stagnation, which is holding you back in terms of your earning potential if you stay at the same organization for a long time, right? That's a fact. If you're looking for a new role, somebody reading your resume, someone reviewing your profile is going to think this person has been, a direct sales director for 20 years. Why aren't they a VP of sales? What happened? That is not a good place to be. And you don't want people thinking this person has reached their ceiling. This person can't go any further. And so if you're in the same role for 5-6 years, unless obviously if you're a COO or a CMO and you're at the top of the tree, then fine, right? But if you're staying in the same role, which is a kind of, mid-level executive role for a long time, that's just going to show stagnation. That's going to show that for whatever reason, you haven't been able to grow in that organization, or you haven't been ambitious enough to get a new role where you could grow. It's very, very important because positioning in the marketplace is one of the most important things when it comes to finding a new role as an executive. You have to position yourself in a way, because think about it. You have 200, 300, 400 people out there, potentially way more than that, who are equally as qualified as you, who want the type of job that you're looking for, right? You see them when you look job ads, right? You see 500, 600 applicants. Not everyone's going to be as qualified as you, but there's going to be a large proportion who are, right? And people out there who are passively looking as well, who would totally accept that role if it was offered to them. So you're competing against all those other people. What is going to make you stand out? That's your market positioning. If your positioning is showing, hey, stagnation, this person is not ambitious, this person is not growing, that's not a good place to be. So it is 100% the case that staying in the same role for too long, and you can argue about how long is too long, but to me, I'd say anything longer than 6 or 7 years in exactly the same role is too long. That's bordering on too long. 15 years is way too long. You need to move right now unless you've got something amazing going on, right? Because you're going to be underpaid compared to what you would be in the marketplace. And even if you did want to move on, you're showcasing stagnation, you're showcasing a lack of growth, a lack of ambition, just by having not moved on and not advancing your career in the way that maybe someone else's would have done. Right? So these are the hidden dangers of staying in that same position for however long it might be. So you need to consider this, because your career is not just what you're doing today. It's not just what you're doing 2 years from now. It's the whole span. So if you've got 15 years left until you think you might want to retire, well, guess what? You've got some big decisions to make, because maybe if you make 3 moves, you might be at the C-suite level at a really awesome organization earning a lot more than you would have done if you don't make those right moves, right? So this is all about having the right strategy around your career, working on your career versus in your career, right? Planning your career out from the outside rather than just the day-to-day grind. So take this on board, take this in mind, because this is going to make a huge, huge difference to the overall success of your career and actually getting to the place that you want to get to.